that he's a smart man.
I used to be. Forgotten everything the last 3.5 months. You have your passport, by the way?
Yes, I have my passport. Yeah. But I forget.
No. Listen, how challenging is this road trip going to be for you guys? Do you feel?
Well, challenging obviously because our start to the MLS season has been good. We still have a few league games to go, but Houston's a dangerous team. I mean, they signed some pretty good attackers. Their front three are really good, really good players. And look, they had a red card with center backs. Defensively, let's see what we can do. But it's always hard to collect points on the road, especially against good teams. And then you add to that trip, because flying from Houston all the way back up here and then flying down to Monterrey, that's going to be challenging. So we decided to just, park down there, and we'll give the guys a day off on Sunday and let them eat some barbecue in Houston or something, and then we'll travel down to Monterrey to play against the Tigres team that, anybody that watched that Tigres Cincy series knows how dangerous they can be at home. So it'll be a challenge.
What did you learn 13 years ago playing in that stadium as a coach?
No, I don't remember that. It'll bring back memories once I'm probably standing there and I'll rewatch, the highlights again of the game up here when Jimmy Traore, my good friend, and DeAndre Yedlin scored a couple goals. I think we lost that game 1-0.
Yep.
So that's a good result down there. So can we get a result? Can we score a goal down there? Because away goals are still in this competition. That'll be the objective.
We talked to Paul Arriola about, what it might take for MLS teams to do good over there. He talked about colmillo, savviness, a little bit of, dark tactics. Is that mentality component that you might have to have?
Yeah, it's something that we can't coach. We can talk about it a little bit. Players have to feel that on their own. I'll go back to, when we played in the final in 2022 down there, and Christian gets fouled deep into the, deep in their end, and he stays on the ground and he's waving his arm and he's holding his hip, and they flagged it for VAR. Maybe Christian's delay in getting up allowed VAR. Those little things, players have to feel that in the games. But we didn't coach Christian to do that. They just get it. So, some of that stuff is internal, that they'll feel the game, but certainly what is in our control is trying to control tempo. How do we take our goal kicks? Do we play more direct? Do we play, our normal style? We'll start talking about that after Houston.
What all goes into the decision of how to do this whole trip? You're leaving a day early. You're leaving earlier than you would oftentimes leave for a road trip.
We always had Houston match day -2 travel.
Okay.
We're trying to shorten things a little bit because with the charters, and that's been really beneficial from, when you talk to our fitness guys, the charter travel changes different things. But once you go past a certain flight time, sitting on a plane, match day -1, -2, Houston was always those ones that it's right there at the edge. Mm-hmm. We might be able to go -1, but it's a long trip.
With Saze's back, Snyder, how do they look, or how have they kind of?
Saze scored 5 goals in 2 games. Snyder looks sharp, so everybody looks good.
And then Danny's meeting you in Houston.
Danny and Christian are meeting us in Houston. Yeah.
Bringing it back to that match from 13 years ago, you guys made history becoming the only MLS team to defeat a Mexican side in the CONCACAF tournament. What can you kind of say about that, especially, facing Tigres again in the same tournament, but under a different format, of course?
I didn't know that record, Jessica. Maybe there were some other moments of us getting results down in Mexico, because we've actually been one of the MLS teams that actually have a couple of good games down there. So whether that one was the first one in this competition, I don't really remember, but I just know that we can be competitive down there. Now, we've also been caught in some games where we haven't been that competitive, a couple of games, but at the end of the day, I think this group has enough experience, and we're going to go down there and try and get a result. But again, that's after we deal with Houston, because Houston's the next game, and that's the one we're focused on.
And then you guys also, obviously, you beat Tigres 3-0 in Leagues Cup with incredible goals from different club legends. So yeah, I just want to kind of keep going with that history. What does it mean to you to kind of play Tigres specifically?
If you're talking about 2021, I believe that was a good run because we beat I think America, Tigres, and someone else. That was a good run. I'll have to do my research on that. But again, we're going to focus on Houston first. I know you guys can't follow me on the plane to Houston, ask me these questions after Houston, but we're going to deal with Houston. We're going to talk about, Tigres when that time comes. It's obviously a big matchup, because the Leagues Cup now is a little bit bigger than in 2021, because that was like 3 games, and then we went to Vegas for the final. So a little bit different. These home and home games are challenging, so it'll be a good series.
Speaking about Houston, I mean, they're a team that's definitely very aggressive. They get a lot of numbers forward. That's something that you feel like your team can expose,
Sure.
match up well with?
Sure. I expect Benny to press. He's a good coach. He wants to win. He wants to play up tempo soccer at home. I love Benny. He's one of the old guys like me and Bruce, and he's been around the block a few times. And his team, sometimes teams take on the personality of their coach. He gets them fired up for every game, and I appreciate that.
They've struggled with set pieces. You've mentioned you wanted to really focus on that. Is that an area where maybe you might be able to?
Well, we're working on both defensive set pieces and attacking set pieces since the start of this preseason. And again, we've only got one as Christian's header on a set piece, so we need to do a little bit better there. We need to get some more, more chances, more real chances on goal from our set pieces. I will say this, that Jake Sheard, the new video analyst from Brighton, is here with John. So he kind of replaced what Rodrigo was doing for us last year, and he's got a lot of experience in the EPL as far as, set pieces and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to work on that and still make it a priority, and hopefully it bears some fruit.
Yesterday the U15s and the U16s both
Loved
advanced
it.
to the. What was the?
We're
were you guys watching
in
it?
the coach's room. Yeah, we're watching the penalties. We watched the equalizer. It's great. Good entertainment. Love that the young kids are doing it. I love it.
What does it say about this just organization in general to go on the world stage like that, and just the academy and how well this organization.
Christian said it in an interview with Timmy Howard, I believe. I saw that interview. It was when he was, with the national team, and Timmy Howard asked him a question about, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't have the exact quote, but talking about the Sounders and the culture when Timmy came here in Colorado, and it was a big stadium feel like Europe. It felt like Europe. And then Christian's answer was something along the lines of, it goes from the academy through the first team, that this is a winning culture, that winning matters, that, the kids that get it down at the academy level, when they come up to the Defiance level and the first team, that's already been mentioned. It's already in their DNA that when you come up here, it's about winning.
Coach, is part of the growth of this club also being a team that can start to, sell young talent? You sold Danny Leyva, Reed, and now Georgie. Is that kind of part of the growth?
That narrative, I think those deals, each deal is a little bit different. I'm not going to go on record and say we're a selling club now just because we've sold some players. I think each case was, Danny wanted more playing. Danny deserved more playing time. And Obed was here, and we had some talent coming up through there. So that's Danny. And Reed was kind of always fighting with Nuhu for playing time. And so sometimes those deals are win-win. It's not necessarily that we're just going to develop players like a Philly or back in the day Dallas, really just that's our whole way we operate, because winning is still important. We wouldn't make those deals unless we felt we had enough players here to continue to win.
So when it comes to Georgie, it was also good for him to find a place where he get more minutes.
I think for Georgie as well, because if you're looking at Paul Rothrock start, and then Jordan was playing a little bit out there, and then you got Paul Areola, and you got Georgie. There's 4 guys fighting for one spot. So, thank you for bringing Georgie up, because I don't think I've been on record. Georgie is a tremendous kid. He's overcome adversity. He's such a nice young man, and I wish him nothing the best. And so if he gets extra playing time, even maybe maybe we didn't make the right decision. Maybe we should have kept him. I'm happy for the kid, but the $2 million spoke volumes. I mean, that was a good deal. Craig made a good deal there, in my opinion. So it's win-win again for the club and for Georgie.
And there's no update on Nicola when he'll have his surgery.
No, I
Where?
don't have those specific details, Jada.
Good to go.